Hello, welcome to Introduction to Philosophy. My name is Aurelio Madrid, and this will be the first screencast of two. So this is part one of two screencasts. So you are stepping into Introduction to Philosophy, otherwise known as Philosophy 111004. Okay, for spring 21 semester. So right here we are looking at the home page, and this is the announcement feed, and this is usually where we'll find how to get started for the weeks ahead. And so as you could see, we have a paragraph on what is philosophy, little bit of an introduction, and then also a video covering this paragraph, okay? And then right down here, I have screencasts, and I'm about to include the screencasts that I'm working on right now, so they'll be located right there. And I expect you to listen to these because they will have critical information as to how to navigate through the class and through D2L, etc., etc., okay? And then I will talk about all this stuff in the second screencast. Before we look at any of that, let's go ahead and go to course materials here. Click on content. So let's do that one more time. Course materials, you have a scroll down right here, click on content. So that'll take you to this table of contents here. And so know that this table of contents here has basically our schedule going through the semester. So you have week 1 here, week 2, week 3. So if you click on one of these, you'll notice that I have a very short schedule here that I will populate as an upload on as we continue through the semester. So this is the other place where you'll find what you need to do for the upcoming week. So here and in our announcements folder, okay? So week 1 is there, and like I say, in the second screencast, I will offer more details thereof. Okay, so let's look at our syllabus here. Click on the syllabus. Get it so that we could read it larger format. Okay, so you're looking at our syllabus for Introduction to Philosophy, Philosophy 111004, Spring 2021. So my name is Aurelio Madrid. I include my cell phone here, so I'm happy if students text me. Really, the easiest way to get a hold of me is via D2L, and I'll show you that email, how that more or less works in our again in the second screencast. Okay, and then here this is just more details that we don't really even need now that we're all online, because you could basically get in touch with me online via the D2L email, okay? And that's really the primary way in which you'll contact me. The department contacts will change. I haven't changed the syllabus yet, but I will change those. There's a couple new, a number or two that I need to add, so that will slightly change from what we have. Then also we have the paragraph that we looked at already. Then we have these, the catalog course description, topical outline, GT pathways. But you want to think about these as are ways that the state of Colorado recognizes this class. So in other words, this is what you are projected to learn about in this class, okay? For the state. This is how the state identifies what you will be learning in the class. So then we also have how is it that we are thinking of learning outcomes, and there's fine print here. I'm not going to go through that. Then you also have a points breakdown here. So know that with our participation, I'm counting our Zoom meetings as our participation. So there'll be 14 Zoom meetings throughout the semester, and you will be graded 18 points for each of those, okay? Then weekly discussion and or assignments. So this week I have us working on both a discussion and an assignment. I probably won't do that through the semester ever again. This will be the one and only time I do that. But so you'll either have a discussion or an assignment or a short essay or the final. So you won't. I usually will not assign any of these at once. Excuse me. I won't have overlap between these. So you won't be turning in a discussion when you're turning in a short essay. Let's put it that way. Okay. So then we'll have 10 discussion or arguments for the semester. Okay. Excuse me, 10 discussion or assignments for the semester. So that probably will break down to 5 discussions and 5 assignments. I'm not quite sure. That might change, but just know that we're going to have 10 of either one of those for 25 points each. Then you'll have 3 short essays, 2 of them at 82 points each and 1 at 84. The only reason I have the difference between 82 and 84 is to accommodate for the 1,000 at the end here. Okay, so I had to kind of move around some points very slightly. So that's the only reason that there's a difference between those 3 essay points. Then for the midterm and final, we have 2 of those, 2 exams, and those will be 125 points each, okay, for a total of 1,000 points maximum, okay? And there's a points breakdown here. Then with the late policy, this is really to let you know that, first of all, any of the late work you should submit, even if you're late, into the folder in which the assignment is late for. Okay, so if you're turning in late work, turn it into the assignment. What I do is I keep them open so that students could do this, but also know that you will automatically receive a 20-point reduction off of the top of that, which means that you'll only be eligible for 80% max. Okay, so that could easily drop below 80% depending on the quality of your work still. Okay, so that means that you could go, just because it's late, you go already to a B, and then that B is essentially 100%, which would then be could be taken below that. Well, it's technically an A. Let's put it that way. 80% when you're late is technically an A, so that means that it could go below that to something like a C if the work is not good enough quality, even then, okay? Then attendance and participation. Let's see. This is really to let you know that in our online situation, the way I account for participation is by way of our Zoom meetings, okay? Let's see, please note, so this is an ethics philosophy class, so we could be potentially talking about some sensitive issues. So please use common sense, be respectable, and as civilized as possible in our Zoom meetings and also in our discussion forums. And so I expect you to be as mature as possible as we're moving through in terms of how you address each other, and of course how you're being respectful of me as well. So then success in the classroom, how to come to class prepared. Both of these are basically centering on the issue of reading, okay? And the reason why is because this is a philosophy class, so that means that we will do a lot of reading. As a matter of fact, every week we will have a reading averaging maybe 20 pages. So in other words, the reading is front and center. So always think about doing the reading before you submit work, and then also before we Zoom, because usually we'll be discussing the readings as we Zoom. So remember, that's an important feature of this class. Do not ignore that. It's really easy for me to tell if students aren't doing the reading, especially when they submit work where that becomes really obvious. How to use D2L. That's what I'm going over, so I don't know if I need to go over that right now. How do you get help outside of class? Easiest thing to remember is that you have to ask for help, and not only when so when you ask for help, you need to be specific on the kind of help you need. I've had students, when they're looking at assignments, go, I don't know what this means, or I'm confused, or something like that. That doesn't help me help you, because I need to know more specifics on what you're confused with in order for me to help you. Okay, so you have to get your confusion to some kind of specificity in order for me to help you. Okay. So here we have a bit on academic honesty, which has to do with plagiarism, etc. So I expect you to read through this in order to get a sense of how it is that we're understanding plagiarism, and know that with assignments, etc., I have a way to, we have what's called Turnitin, and Turnitin is basically a plagiarism checker. So that will be set with each assignment, and it will give me a reading that will indicate whether or not your writing is your own or not. Okay, and then even without that, I could usually tell too when students are not turning in their own writing. Technical difficulties. This is special in the sense that we're doing this class entirely online, and sometimes students think that if they start complaining that there's technical failures, that they don't have to do their work. Well, that's not an excuse, okay? So you want to call IT as soon as you're having technical problems, but it will not serve as an excuse for you to not do your work, okay? So know that. Online learning expectations. Let's see. Required introduction to online learning. So that's just telling you some of the specifics on online learning. I'm not going to go over those details. So I'm going to scroll down here. Here we have some important dates that you want to keep track of as we're progressing here. Then also the schedule. And so this schedule will also be on our content folder. So why don't we just close out this screencast here and resume at the second screencast to talk about more details, okay? So of course, if you have any questions about the syllabus or any policies, anything, please let me know via email or in our first discussion forum. You'll see that there's an opportunity to ask questions, or even in our first Zoom meeting, okay? So don't hesitate. Okay, and I'll talk to you in the second screencast.